Hello and welcome back to the Research Reproducibility video tutorial series. So if you have been following along, watched the last video, you know that we just went over the database manager object and all of its methods. And so moving on to the next object down the line, we're going to look at the XML Extractor and all of the methods available to it. So let's break open the terminal and start looking at the methods available to the XML Extractor. So first thing we're going to do is import the XML Extractor, instantiate an instance of the XML Extractor object. And so XML Extractor returns its parsed XML data in an object called Beautiful Soup. And if you've never heard about this module, it's fantastic. It's really easy to use and intuitive, super quick. And so for those that haven't, I'll just give a super brief demonstration. So from the BS4 module, import the Beautiful Soup class, and then instantiate an instance of the Beautiful Soup object that takes its parameter. So the Beautiful Soup constructor takes as its parameter a string of XML data, and what kind of parser to use. So we're going to use an XML parser, and then we're going to assign that to the variable BS, which obviously stands for Beautiful Soup, because what else could it stand for? So I'll show you just how easy Beautiful Soup is. So if we want to grab the important information, if we want to grab the text inside the important information tags, you can see here's the text available. We can go straight and grab such as best dinosaur. So we see the best dinosaur is Triceratops. It's my grandma's, that's why I like it. Or it's my grandma's favorite dinosaur, so that's why I really like it. We can also go and grab best country. You see the best country is Ireland. I studied abroad there. It's a really awesome place. Great people, really beautiful. So I highly recommend you go if you've never been. Anyway, just kind of a side note. So when we run in the XML Extractor article, we have a method available to us called Xml Load, which takes as its parameter a URL, specifically a URL from the PubMed site. And so let me grab the PubMed tab or the PubMed ID as well. Before we get too much farther, I'll show you what that site looks like. So it's pretty simple. We have the PubMed site, PubMed, and then the PubMed code as the website format. So it's just a little bit of information about the article. Here's the abstract, title, author. We could click this link to go to the full text if we wanted. But what we are really interested in is NCBI has available an XML version of some of the data of the article. So XML is not that pretty for humans, super easy for the computer to use and for the computer to extract information from. So you can see really quickly, here's the journal title, here's the article title, here is the author's first and last name, and these are all, so there's a lot of fields present here that we are interested in extracting. And we are going to use the XML Load method to help us get that information. So the XML Extractor calls the XML Load function, takes as its parameter a URL, the NCBI site specifically, so you can see the URLs match the site that we were just on. And then we're going to assign the return, which is a Beautiful Soup object, to the variable BS. And so now you can see, now that we have the Beautiful Soup object, we can retrieve any information we want super easily. So there's the article title. We can do the author's forename and last name. We can get the journal title. So great. So the XML Load is going to return a Beautiful Soup object of the parsed XML data from the URL that it takes as its input parameter. So there's also some cool error management in the XML Load. So for example, if we gave it a URL that isn't from the NCBI site, so like monkeys.com, for example, is just a random example, we get this error message: XML is not proper format, no PubMed article tag found. So it looks for this PubMed article tag to validate that the information came from the NCBI site. Likely the wrong, but a valid website was entered. That's exactly what happened, and then we see a 0 to show that there were errors. Similarly, if we do it for the string not a URL frowny face, we get a similar error message: request to site not a URL frowny face failed. Error information from request, which is the module that handles the retrieval from of the website. No connection adapters. Makes sense because it's not a website. And then a 0 to show more errors. So this is important because if, say, for any given article, we try to run the XML extraction, we're running for a big group of articles, and one errors out for whatever reason, the NCBI site doesn't have an XML data for that article, or we got the PubMed code wrong, whatever reason that we don't get the XML data, the program is not going to fail. It's going to print an error message, warn you that something went wrong, but it's going to handle it, and it's going to keep going. The other important thing about that is it's actually going to record all of the errors into a SQL database called, it should be here, let me try to find it in Finder, this errors.db, which is a database that we'll reference a couple times throughout the video, but you can see all kinds of information for when errors occur. So some of the fields available, like article ID and identifier, we're not working with an article right now, so those aren't immediately relevant. A record ID, we're not entering in RepeAT, so you don't need that. But here we go. So we have the method and the object that called the method, so parse XML and XML Extractor. So in the first error, we did, the error was caused by the parse XML method because the retrieval of the website monkeys.com was successful, but the XML wasn't in proper format, so parse XML is actually the method that caused the error. And then notes, just the error information that we already looked at, and then a timestamp when the error occurred. Same thing for our second error. The method was XML Load, called by the XML Extractor. The field, not a URL, so that was the site that we tried to extract the XML information from that failed. Notes, here's the error information from request. No connection adapters were found for not a URL frowny face. And then the timestamp of when that occurred. So you can see here all of that error information. When errors occur, you can come back later and try to figure out why they occurred and get the RepeAT database back up to speed without having your whole program force fail. So we could go through Beautiful Soup and grab all of those methods by hand. Specifically though, there's another method that the XML Extractor has. So in the XML Extractor object, we call the XML Extract method, takes as its parameter a Beautiful Soup object, and returns a dictionary of all of the fields that we're interested in. So you can see for the article that we just looked at, here's the DOI, the article title, the author email, first name, last name, journal publication, and the publication date. All the fields that we're interested in for our RepeAT database. And so that'll run these methods that'll run all of the Beautiful Soup extractions for you automatically and give you a dictionary of the results. The way that you will most likely use the XML Extractor generally is we will call the XML Extractor object, we're going to call the XML Extract method, and we're going to take in, remember we want to take in a Beautiful Soup object. Well, how did we get the Beautiful Soup object to begin with? We called from the XML Extractor the method XML Load and took as its parameter the site that we are going to extract the information from. So you can see we're going to get the exact same results. It's essentially exactly the same method. We're just skipping the middle step. We could have taken this method call and assigned it to the variable BS like we did before, or we can just do it all in one step. So here you go. That is going to take just a little bit longer because it's making a beautiful soup object as well as doing the extraction. Here's all the same information for the article that we were interested in. And so that is most likely, most of the time, how you're going to use the XML extractor. xe.xml extract of xe.xml load, XML extractor.xml extract of XML extractor.xml load of whatever site or whatever article, put in your given PubMed code here for whatever article you're looking for the information for. And that just about wraps up the XML extractor. So stay tuned. Next up, we'll be talking about the article manager, and I'll get that going for you here just shortly.